last week. That's taking you down to 57% from your tipping on the show this year so far. I had a bad week too, don't get me wrong. 3 out of 6 for me, 66% I fall to. Sarah's on 50% overall and Alan's on 67% overall, so Alan's edging it from us lot so far. In the Super Brew, Caroline Sylvester, a new name on me, so welcome on board, Caroline. She sports the yellow cap this week, but Tom Andrews rises to the top of the table. It's not trying to inflate his ego, Paige, it's just facts. He's at the top of the table. I'm as gutted about it as you are, I assure you. In the Fantasy League, Alan
have you checked and verified it this week?
Well,
because we wouldn't want to get things wrong.
I've tried, but I might get it wrong, to be honest, because I'm doing this at 11 o'clock at night on a Sunday usually. Alan Bagley keeps his first place, of course. The best score this week, though, is Sarah Morgan's with 672. Well done to Sarah on that one.
I hope there's a fantasy league for the Great Britain tour, because that'll be good.
Yeah. Do you know what? That'd be interesting. But there's only going to... Because I suppose if you threw in the whole international calendar as well, because GB are playing, New Zealand twice, they're playing New Zealand twice, and then the island nations, Samoa and PNG. But then the other guys play against each other as well, don't they? Australia come into the mix. So you could have the whole international calendar in one. So GB and the other teams.
Yeah.
Interesting one to see.
Can't wait for that Britain tour. It's going to be good.
Yeah, the GB Lions. You mentioned the Google form, Tim, before whilst we're sort of falling away from things there with fantasy.
Yeah, there is a Google form which you can get all your views in. Usual places. We tweet it out a million times a week.
And on Facebook posts as well.
And on Facebook posts. Just go and find it. And if you're at a game, we don't know about it unless you tell us about it. So Paul and others, we don't know what happened unless you tell us.
Yeah, great.
So get in touch with that.
Great week of reviews though this week again, over 50. We're smashing it this year, guys, but keep them coming in on the non-televised games as much as possible too, please, guys, because that really helps us round out our views on those. Okay, we're going to move on swiftly now to other results. Championship round 6 this week, Tim, and disappointingly no televised game for us to watch because Toulouse 46, Toronto 16. Toulouse was 16 points to 6 or 10 or something. They were behind at half time and they came out and smashed it in front of over 6,000 people at the Stade Toulousain, their stadium.
Around the corner. Yeah.
That move did them well. We had 3 fan reviews in. Do you want to take us through those on this game?
Yeah, Martin Simpson at Mart Sims says, McDermott out. It worked for Leeds fans. Tom Andrews says, the team everyone likes smashes the team nobody likes. Simply lovely. And finally, Brian Davies, who was there, says, superb, of course he was, superb effort by Toulouse Olympique. 6-0 up, then 16-6 down, then 46-16 winners. Jonathan Ford killed Toronto with his kicking game. Everyone in one stand opposite the tunnel with several hundred in the main stand too created a good atmosphere. Travelled out with the Toronto team and some of them looked comically huge on such a tiny plane. If you've not been to Toulouse for the rugby, go when you get the chance. Lovely city. Tell you what, Mark, if things carry on as they are, you might get the chance next year.
Yeah, you never know. Swinton 12, Lee 30. It seems like Lee's dual reg players did them a favour there and pulled it out, so well done to them. Barrow 4, Widnes 20. We had one in on this one, Tim.
Yeah, the devoted dad, Paul O'Brien, PAB 1976, says it was bloody cold in Barrow. Awful first half from the Vikings with only points coming from 2 penalties for Barrow. Widnes started the second half well with a Craven try to make it 6-4 to settle the Vikings. Widnes played slightly better in the second half. We made hard work of it, but a win is a win.
Batley 6, Bradford 16. Featherstone bounced back. Maybe some of their loan signings are making an immediate impact and ended Sheffield's unbeaten start to the season. It was 32 points to 14 to the Fev Rhinos. Halifax 26, Dewsbury 0. In that one, and Rochdale versus York was postponed and some controversy on that. Do you have a take? Do you think York should get the points for this late postponement? Do you think it's health and safety gone mad, or do you think there was reasonable cause to call a game off if you can't get the posts up?
I think if that's the reason, then fair enough. But I think what was lacking here from Rochdale is a bit of leadership and a bit of honest communication. That if they're having those problems, from the reports I've read, certainly from the York fans, they just didn't communicate, and it sounded like it was the York journalists and the York radio that was having to do all the running around and the communicating. So I think that's bad. I do worry for Rochdale financially. If they've had another game postponed, they're not on the greatest financial footing. They've been seeking investment. I mean, I think they could be the next ones to be getting the GoFundMe bucket out, because I really worry how sustainable that club is if they're not getting home games in at this stage of the season to fuel them. And
not getting any sort of gate at the games they are getting on either, really.
Yeah.
Okay. Standings then. Toronto lose their 100% record but stay top, thanks to Sheffield also losing their 100% record. They're on 10 points and 8 points respectively. York sit behind them on third, but on points difference only, because they're on 8 points too, despite not playing this week. Toulouse and Halifax are also on 8 points. Featherstone, Leigh, Bradford, they're all on 6 points, just sitting outside the playoff spots. Dewsbury and Barrow are on 3. Batley and Rochdale are on 2. Swinton are still yet to get off the mark in 13th. Widnes, they are last, but move on to -4 points after their 4th win in 5 games. Okay, it was round 3 of the Challenge Cup as well. Shall we switch roles on this one? You do the results, I'll do the reviews.
Yeah, so it finished Doncaster 38, Coventry Bears 16 up on Friday night. So really, Coventry were ahead at one stage and then hung in for quite a while, up to about 60 minutes. A couple of injuries and concussions that then meant they had nobody left on the bench, and they were carrying 2 players with shoulder injuries out on the pitch who probably should have been off. So they were really depleted in that second half, which meant Doncaster got the win.
And Doncaster are a good side.
They are, although obviously missing any of their dual reg players, so depleted in that regard.
Potentially, if they manage to get as far as the semi-finals, they might have Rankin Chase lining up. We'll see.
Yeah, that would be interesting. Interesting what shape he's in. Finished Fatto Heath 30, Rochdale Mayfield 24.
Carsten got in touch to say, strong game by Thatto Heath, winning with 12 men for most of the game. The game had it all, a 40-20, some biff, a red card and a close finish. Nice tweet by Whale Oil Beef Hooked, though. I didn't catch that. I saw some of the game, but I didn't listen to the commentary. So, but well done to Thatto Heath.
Yeah, I believe Dave Woods was the victim of a stitch-up.
Ah, okay.
So, some
friend of the show, Dave Woods.
Yeah, friend of the show, yeah. So you don't know who did that, but or what it was, to be honest. I saw a clip but didn't really understand it. Anyway, finished Wigan St Jude's 4, Lock Lane from Castleford 24, York Acorn 10, Featherstone Lions 20, Newcastle 48, West Wales Raiders managed a huge 0 in probably what is the longest journey in domestic rugby league. It finished Hunslet 56, West Bowling 10, London Scholars 18, North Wales Crusaders 31, West Hull 26, Dewsbury Moor 10, Keighley Cougars 28, Dissington 14.
Our friend Alan went to this one. Anyone following along on Twitter will have seen some pretty funny videos from the warm-ups from Al there and the weather that was landed in Keighley at the time. Alan said, really competitive encounter most of the way in the mud. Keighley just a little more precise and structured at the right moments to pull away in the second half. P.S. Having now heard the Cougar roar over the PA, it sounds just like how I imagine a death rattle to sound. Yeah,
it wasn't. I've heard it the week before, and it didn't sound pleasant. It's the sort of thing you should see a doctor about. Oldham 80, Haydock 10. Carsten getting in touch on this one. The scoreline beat the clock in the first half already, and Oldham didn't stop to take this serious. Good for Haydock to get 2 tries at the end, though.
Yeah, this was the hastily repurposed our league live game because Workington versus Siddle was postponed, and then there's one more result to talk about, Tim.
It finished Whitehaven 74, Wigan St Pat's 4. So able to play up the road in Whitehaven, but in Workington it was just too bad, so they had to cancel it.
Yeah, I'm not sure how that... It was snow, apparently. Snow and ice. But either way, maybe it was called off ahead. I don't know when it was called off. I wasn't really...
I think it was off the morning. Yeah, in the morning, yeah.
But Andrew Bullman scores 6 tries for Whitehaven, equaling their club record. He's the lad that tried to make it at Hull, but decided stepping back a level and going more close to home might have suited him, and it seems to have done so, because 6 tries is fantastic in that one. Okay, that is the other results wrapped up for us. We're now going to make our predictions for next week's games in Super League and beyond.
So now time to look ahead to next week's Super League, starting with round 6, our predictions, and starting Thursday 7:45 on Sky, Huddersfield against St Helens. Mark, how do you see this one going?
I mean, Huddersfield got off the mark last week and certainly showed great intensity in that game, but St Helens' defence isn't going to give them the sort of weak-ass efforts on the line I think that Wigan's defence gave them, and so I'm still uncertain about Huddersfield's all-around scoring potential. I think St Helens. I've got St Helens by 10. Let's say 20 points to 10 in favour of Saints.
Yeah, I'm saying Saints. I'm probably more like 16 points in the margin, but definitely Saints to win this one. Friday 7:45, Hull FC host Wakefield. How do you see that?
This is a tough one for me because Wakefield, it was bad conditions that they played in, and they were maybe a little bit unlucky to get beaten, and they're a good side this year, and they've got some really good players, so it's hard because Hull FC pretty much were fantastic for 25 minutes, but nothing out of the ordinary for the rest of that game last week. But the Hull FC are riding high on confidence, in a good run of form, starting to get bodies back. I'm going to go FC by 4.
I'm going to say Wakefield. I think they'll be back on the horse. I don't think the Hull FC run can continue, surely. So I'm going to say Wakefield for that one.
Fair enough. Friday also sees Leeds host London. Can Leeds get the monkey off the back, Tim?
I think this is probably the hardest one for me. I think they probably will, on virtue of being home, and they'll have another decent Headingley crowd that will cheer them on. I think they will do well at this, but you just don't know. I mean, London have shown glimpses of decent form, so they could easily upset the apple cart here. But I almost wish this was the one on Sky, if I'm honest, because I think this would be more interesting as a contest, or it could be utterly dire. It could be two drunks in a bar arguing over a coin. But
I think there's narrative in there on this one either way.
Yeah.
And that's why it might have been an interesting TV game, but hey-ho.
But there we go. I'm saying Leeds overall.
Right, okay, I'm going Leeds too. I've got Leeds by 12. I think if Leeds start the way they've started some of the other games, I just don't think it's going to be as bad. I just don't think they're going to fall away as much as they have done, because London maybe don't have that resolve away from home. You've got to think they've been nilled twice away from home, haven't they? Now, Leeds' defence probably can't nil them, but I just think Leeds will have enough, and it might start to paper over some cracks. We shall see. Friday's televised game that we were just sort of hinting at, I guess we think it's only going one way. Warrington versus reigning champions Wigan Warriors. How do you see it going?
Well, I definitely see it going to the home side. I think just the performance they put in last week and the week before against that Wigan defence and that disorganisation at the moment, I can't see it going any other way.
Yeah, I agree.
Are you tipping against your own team?
I'm tipping against my own team. It's been a long time coming. It's probably two or three. It's probably 2016 the last time I picked against Wigan. I think, and I find, I think our team's got a good enough squad that we should be able to beat anyone. We might not on the day, but we go into every game with a chance. But at the moment, I kind of give us no chance because I'm not sure what's wrong. And I kind of think this is the last game before they fix it for me. So I'm going to go wire by 16. I think it's probably going to be something like, I don't know, 22-6, something like that.
Okay.
Sunday then, there's no Saturday games this week for I think the first time this season, which is interesting. But Sunday, Hull KR host Catalans. Bonus Sky game. I forgot to note this on the thing. Bonus Sky game because the cameras are in town anyway for Toronto.
Oh yes, yeah.
Yeah. So I'll let you go first. It's your team.
Yeah, I'm going for the home side. I think Boyd a bit of confidence.